more people will drop in as they get around to it and have their coffee and get started for the day. Jacob is joining us. Thank you, Jacob, for coming. Um, you can keep your webcam off or turn it on today, whatever you choose to do. So, all right, let's just take a look at, this is kind of like our wrap up of our book club. We'll do another book club in semester 2, but for the next few weeks, we're going to be doing some other fun projects. But so we're just kind of wrapping this up, and let's just look at where we've been. Our enduring understanding, or I should say the big picture, was that humans use strategies to construct meaning. And we tied that into reading strategies. And specifically, we worked a lot with predictions, connections, and summarizing. And we used those reading strategies to construct meaning of the novel. So, we're going to take it a little bit farther today and go into some writing pieces. So, our goal was to communicate, collaborate, to think critically, and to be creative. So far, I love it. Jack's on the Google Doc right now. I can see his screen pop up. But anyway, to communicate, we've been sharing our thoughts, our questions, and ideas about the novel, and we evaluated the theme and purpose. Today, we're going to take that a step farther, and we're going to actually evaluate. If I could type, good writing. What makes a piece better writing? And we're going to also communicate and analyze part of a rubric. So a rubric is something that shows you what you need to do to get a certain amount of points. And we use the 6-trait rubric. And so we're going to analyze one piece of the rubric. Collaboration. That's just us all working together to make something better. So together today, we're going to be making, or I should say creating, writing pieces that are stronger and actually I'll just tell you which part of the rubric we're going to be focusing on, the organizational part. So stronger and focused on the organizational part. Hi, Tyler. Did you just show up?
Hey, Miss Bruns.
Hi. Turn on your webcam so we can see you. All right. And we have our Google Doc on the screen right now. So if you want to make sure that you have it pulled up as well, then you'll be able to type right on this document with us. Okay. Thinking critically. So we will evaluate the rubric and just kind of think critically together on how to make the pieces better. Woo! Somebody's highlighting text right now. That's cool. Creativity. So really, when we all put our minds together, our pieces come out to be more creative. And we, so far, have done some really cool, meaningful projects. And I really enjoyed those, by the way. If I haven't told you before, when you guys would share your book club jobs, you were really creative and you had some really great thoughts. Today, we're going to be creative with our writing. So in the future, we're going to be doing exactly that, more creative writing. Things like where I show you a picture and I give you a prompt and we kind of write a piece together and bounce ideas off each other. That's creativity. So just a little review from last week. We talked about parts of a good paragraph. Who can tell me what made a good paragraph? We talked about structure. We talked about elements of a good paragraph. So does anybody remember things from last week? Tyler.
Last week we were like we did topic sentences and conclusion sentences, and we practiced writing them.
That is exactly right. So topic sentences, conclusion sentences, and then we also had detail sentences, of course, in the middle of the paragraph. I am not having a good time typing today. Um, and just to kind of focus you a little bit more, I'm just going to show you just one little square here of the organizational part of our 6 trait rubric. To get 5 points, and that's the highest, this is what we were really focusing on. Clear and compelling writing. And compelling means interesting. So clear and compelling paragraphs. An order that works well. So things go in order. Okay, they make logical sense. And the reader wants to find out what comes next. So there's enough detail, but it doesn't give too much away. My topic sentence or beginning grabs attention and gives clues. Every detail adds a little bit about the main idea. So, in other words, I don't give details like Anne Marie wore a red dress. That's not important. That doesn't have anything to do with the main idea. The details that I give support the story. Your details are in the right place, so they come at the right time, which is pretty easy, I think, for you guys, 5th and 6th graders, to have things come in the logical order of first, second, third. And then ending in a good spot and having a good conclusion sentence. That should have an S right there, by the way. Ending in a good spot. Okay, so today we're going to take this a little step further. And the reason I wanted you to have this Google Doc up on your screen is because as we get comfortable, you're going to be able to type right on here and change these writing pieces with me. So kind of cool. And of course, we'll start with mine because it's terrible and it needs a lot of work. So let's talk about the steps of peer editing. I'm going to show you a short little presentation. I'm going to have to kind of flip back and forth between my terrible paragraph and this cool presentation. So give me a thumbs up if you're ready. You ready to learn the steps? Okay, good. All right, peer editing can be fun. So working together to improve your writing is fun, but let's figure out how to do it. First of all, a peer is someone your own age. So all of you together are about the same age. Editing is making suggestions and comments and compliments to change writing. Okay, we're going to work together collaboratively, obviously. Sorry, I had to throw my cat down. He was up here bugging me. Important steps. Step 1 is compliments. Step 2, giving suggestions. And step 3, making corrections. So those are all a little bit different, and we're going to practice that together in just a second. Suggestions and corrections seem like they would be the same thing, but they're not. So, all right. Step 1. First thing that you need to do is remember that you got to stay positive. You're reading somebody else's work and you're going to be telling them things that they need to change. So the first thing you should do is give them some compliments on what they did well. And here are some ways to start off that conversation. I really loved your topic. I think you used good details. I liked it when you used whatever word. My favorite part of your paragraph was blah, 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 and tell them why. So here are some ideas on ways that you can start giving compliments. So I'm going to go back to my paragraph, and we'll start here. Okay. It might be kind of hard to give compliments to this paragraph because I purposely made it pretty bad, but we'll give it a shot. I'll read it for you. I read the book, Number the Stars. It was exciting and good. The setting was Copenhagen, 1943. There was Anne Marie, Ellen, Kirsty, Mom, Dad, Peter, and Uncle Hendrik. Ellen was Jewish, and the Germans that occupied the city threatened her family. They got away to Sweden. Number of the Stars was a very good book. Okay, so it might be kind of difficult, but think of something that you can actually compliment. Any ideas? Anything that I did well? I see some smiles. Well, when I wrote this, I purposely used a pretty good verb, occupied the city, instead of we're in the city. So occupied is a pretty good verb. Um, Anything else that maybe I did well? We have to give me at least one compliment before we start making suggestions. All right, Tyler. Tyler, make sure your microphone's on because I didn't hear that.
Use a topic sentence and a conclusion sentence.
I did. I did have a topic sentence and I did have a conclusion sentence, and we're going to be fixing those and making them a lot better, but at least they were there, so that's good. Ashley, you're smiling. Anything else before we move on?
Um, I like how you named the setting and the time.
Well, yeah, that's true. I did give some pretty important details. I did tell you the setting, I did tell you the characters, and I did tell you the problem. So, and then I actually told you the conclusion as well, or resolution. So, I mean, I did have some pretty important details to the story. So, we won't spend too much time giving more compliments. We'll move on to our next step, which is suggestions. All right. Kind of skipping ahead here. Here we go. Making suggestions is giving the author some specific ideas on how to make the writing better. So remember to stay positive. Instead of saying things like, well, that doesn't make sense, it's a lot more, I would just say nicer. If you just say something like, if you add more details, this would be more clear. Or instead of saying your word choice was boring, you could say, hey, instead of using the word good, let's use the word exceptional. That's very specific. It tells the writer exactly what you're thinking, and it's positive. It's worded in a kind of nice way. Now, suggestions, a writer doesn't have to take your suggestion, okay? They might not like it. They might say, you know what, I'm going to leave it the way it is. But it's just an idea of how to make it better. So, before I go on, let's just look back at our 6 trait rubric. And I really do want to get a 5 in organization. So I'm going to take any suggestions that help me get to a 5. I want my paragraph to be clear and compelling. I want my topic sentence to grab the reader's attention. I want details that add to the main idea. I want my details to come in the right order. And then I want a strong conclusion or ending. So, looking back at my paragraph, let's just start with the topic sentence. Does anybody have any suggestions on how I can make this stronger, catch the reader's attention, and give the reader an idea of what the story is about? I read the book Number the Stars. Seeing some people type into the chat. Anybody want to raise? Okay, go ahead, Tyler.
You you could say I read The Number of the Stars by whoever it was written by. I can't think of it now.
Oh, I know. I can't think of the author's name either, right off the top of my head. Okay, I read the book Number the Stars, a novel written by, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. Oh,
Lewis Lowry.
That's right. Okay. Is it Lewis? I think so. That's fine. Yeah, so that makes it a little bit better. I read the book Number the Stars, a novel written by Lewis Lowry. Another suggestion though, because this really doesn't tell me what it's about. Um, I need a little bit more detail about what the story's about because if I knew nothing about this, I don't think I would want to pick the book up because it doesn't give me any detail, really. Could I say something more like, I read the book Number the Stars, a novel written by Lewis Lowry. Oh, and I'm going to take Jacob's idea from the chat. A historic, oops, sorry. I like that, Jacob. A historic book about German. No, you know what I'm going to say about World War II. That's pretty, I don't want to give too much away, so that's pretty basic. Okay. All right, now you guys should have a lot of suggestions for this second sentence. It was exciting and good. Maybe I need to tell the reader why it was exciting and why I thought it was a good book. Go ahead, Ashley.
Because the story has many details.
Okay, give me one.
Um, it is it describes how the people react to situations.
Oh, all right. It was exciting because the novel described how the people reacted, oops, to the Nazi. Do I want to say Nazi party or um, I could use that word again, occupation, the Nazi occupation. The setting was Copenhagen.
There are 7 other callers on the call.
Oh, all right, 7 other callers on the call. Sorry for that little interruption there. Here we go. The setting was Copenhagen 1943. How can I make that better? I could probably add a little bit more detail. The setting was Copenhagen 1943. Go ahead, Jack.
You can add what it was like in the weather.
Sure. Okay, so the setting was Copenhagen 1943. What once, actually I'm gonna add a semicolon here. What once was a peaceful town turned, any ideas? It went from peaceful to dangerous and anything else? Yeah, go ahead, Jack.
Chaotic.
Chaotic. That's a great word. Chaotic. Perfect. All right. This next sentence, I'm talking about the characters. So we're going to definitely have to fix this a little bit. There was Anne Marie, Ellen, Kirsty, Mom, Dad, Peter, and Uncle Hendrik. Ooh. Any suggestions on how I can make this more descriptive? More clear? Okay, Kaylee, go for it.
You could say that the main characters were Anne Mary, Ellen, Christy, Mom, Dad, Peter, and Uncle Henrik.
Great. The main characters of the story were Anne Marie, Ellen, Kirsty, Mom, Dad, Peter, and Uncle Hendrik. Nicholas, welcome. Turn on your webcam if you can. I'm glad you came. Ellen was Jewish, and the Germans that occupied the city threatened her family. Okay, so that's the problem of the story, but it's not very clear. How can I make, I'm describing basically the problem of the story. How can I make this a little bit more clear for the reader? Go ahead, Nicholas.
Unmuted.
You could add details about how they threatened her family, and you
Or
could just add
why?
like more details in certain places.
Okay, so I'm going to add more detail about threatening Ellen's family and maybe why. So, Ellen was Jewish, and the Germans that occupied the city threatened her family by, how did they threaten the Jewish people?
Um,
Nicholas, it's okay. You got three people who want to help you out, so call on one of those people with their hands up.
okay. Um, I guess Tyler. Or
That's fine, Tyler.
The Jews were threatening Ellen's family by saying they were going to relocate them.
Oh, yeah, the Germans were threatening the Jewish by saying they were going to be relocated. Good. Ellen was Jewish, and the Germans that occupied the city threatened her family by saying, actually, I'm just going to reword this altogether. And the Germans threatened them with relocation. Okay. Comma, which meant going to a concentration camp. I don't know if you capitalize concentration camp or not. I really don't. Probably not. Okay. They got away to Sweden. Oh, so this is the resolution of the story. That Ellen's family was able to escape to Sweden. How can I make this better? Go ahead, Ashley.
First of all, you can change got away to escaped.
Sure. Yeah, got away is kind of boring, so they escaped. How did they escape to Sweden? Yeah, go ahead, Ashley. You can continue.
They escaped to Sweden by going in Uncle Henrik's boat.
Should I say going or maybe hiding
Yeah.
in the bottom of a boat? Okay, good. Nicholas, go ahead.
You could add maybe a detail there and say not being tracked down because of that.
Oh, they weren't tracked down. Okay, so they escaped to Sweden by hiding in the bottom of the boat and were not tracked down by the Germans? You like the way that sounds?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it sounds a lot better than it did a couple minutes ago. Oops. I need to focus on my spelling today. All right. Number the stars. Actually, I could have left that because our next step is to make corrections and correcting things like spelling and punctuation, but oh well. Number the Stars was a very good book. Ooh. Let's go back to that rubric and talk about the conclusion. I ended at a good spot and have a strong conclusion or ending. I don't think this is a very strong conclusion. It doesn't, remember last week we kind of talked about conclusion sentences leave you with a feeling? This doesn't leave me with much of a feeling. Any ideas on how I can change this and make it stronger? It was a very good book. that makes me feel, and in fact, I don't really like the word good, so we could probably change that as well. Ooh, I'm seeing some ideas. All right, Jack, go for it.
Number of the Stars was a very interesting book.
Okay. Good. That makes, oops, sorry. That makes me feel empowered. I don't know if that's really the word I'm looking for. Makes me feel happy that the ending was positive. Ooh, let's change the word happy. What's a better word than happy? Go ahead, Jack.
Joyful.
Yeah, okay. Joyful. Sorry, this is scrolling up pretty far here. So I'll just say makes me joyful that the ending was positive. Yeah, that's pretty good. Could probably be a little stronger if I said makes me joyful that the book and history ended on a positive note. Okay. All right, so we have come to the part of peer editing where we actually make corrections. So we find things that are 100% wrong, things like spelling errors, capitalization errors, punctuation. So we'll get to that slide where I describe that a little bit more. Actually, here, let's be a little easier. There we go. The third step. Corrections is checking your peer's paper for spelling, grammar, missing punctuation, and incomplete or run-on sentences. So corrections, the corrections your writer or your original writer really should take those because they're 100% wrong and they need to be fixed. So looking at my piece, I purposely did something right away that I hope all of you caught. What is something at the very beginning of my paragraph? Nicholas.
No indent.
Yes, I need to indent.
Yes, I
So
need to
Nicholas,
So Nicholas,
do you have this Google
this
Doc pulled
Google
up on
Doc
your
pulled up on your
screen?
screen.
Because if you do, you can go ahead and indent for me.
Unmuted.
I don't have it right now. I could open it though.
Yeah, go ahead and open it. Somebody, I know Jack has it open and Ashley and Kaylee. Whoever has it open, go ahead and indent for me.
Tab.
Thank you, Jack.
Jack.
All right.
All right.
Now,
Now,
reading through this, I actually did a pretty good job with my spelling. Any punctuation errors, and actually, it's just the way I am. I did okay with punctuation, I think, too. But that's all right. I'm sure I know. Here's one little error I just found. I have too many spaces. I can fix that, I guess. Okay. All right, guys, we are done peer editing my piece. Do I have any brave people who have also typed on this Google Doc that would like their piece to be peer edited next? Okay, so Jack, he's volunteering, and Tyler. Okay, so I came to Tyler's first, so we'll start with Tyler.
unmuted.
All right, Tyler, I'm going to let you read your piece, and then we're going to go through the steps of peer editing together. So go for it, Tyler.
On a school day, Anne Marie Anne-Marie, her sister Kirsty, and her best friend Ellen were racing home from school when a German soldier stopped them and questioned them about running. Later, later, Kirsty needs new shoes and gets fish skin shoes. So Ellen's dad puts ink on them to make them black. Kirsty loved them. Then, a few days later, the Germans started relocating the Jews. Ellen's parents ran away in fear, leaving Ellen with the Johansons. The next day, everyone except this, that's all I can see of it.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
Everyone except Anne-Marie's dad went to Uncle Henrik's farm that night. Well, they went to Uncle Henrik's farm. That night, they had a coffin full of blankets brought to the house, and Germans showed up and wanted to know who was in the coffin. And then, when Anne-Marie's mom was about to open the coffin, the soldiers slapped her. When the soldiers left, Peter handed out the clothes inside of the coffin. An hour later, they left in small groups to Henrik's fishing boat. Everyone made it safely, but on the way back, Anne-Marie's mom sprained her ankle. They left a package, so Anne-Marie had to take it in a basket full of food on her way. On her way, the Germans stopped her and looked at everything. They even gave food to their dogs. Anne-Marie made it safely to her uncle with a package, and everyone went to Sweden to live a good life and to be free.
Okay, very nice. Some compliments. I will go ahead and start off the compliments. I liked how you used a lot of detail. I mean, you really hit some important parts of the story. Maybe even a few more details than we needed, but there was a lot of detail here. So you captured all the important parts, and really, let's see. Really, that topic sentence too. Kind of made me want to read more. I was interested right away. So that was good. Sorry, I just put it all on one screen, so hopefully we can see it a little bit better. Any other compliments for Tyler? Ashley.
I liked how he said the big ideas and detailed them instead of saying all the little details, like in the story, like the little things that happened. He
Yeah,
said mainly the big things and detailed them.
he did. He gave the main events, definitely. Kaylee.
I like how he was telling about the German soldiers taking away the Jews.
Yeah, that was probably one of the main events of the story is how the German soldiers started to relocate the Jewish people, and we all know what that really meant. So, yeah, that was a main part of the book. Any other compliments for Tyler? I noticed just by looking back at that, I had to pull it up here for a second. Looking back at this rubric, our 6 trait rubric, his details are in the right place. They came in the correct order, and he had ideas and details that supported the main idea. So, very good work. Now, our second step is to make suggestions for Tyler. So, we can just start at the very beginning and start with his topic sentence. And we'll think about how we can make it better or make suggestions. On a school day, Anne Marie, her sister Kirsty, and her best friend Ellen were racing home from school when a German soldier stopped them and questioned them about running. Yeah, Tyler, go ahead. I'll take your suggestion.
I I would say question them about why they were running.
Okay, all right. So why don't you go ahead and, if you have this pulled up on your screen, why don't you go ahead and change that Type it into your piece.
Yeah.
So
I
you're
gotta go in and open it.
Oh, okay. Here's a suggestion too that I was thinking of when it came to topic sentences. This seemed um, maybe a little too detailed for a topic sentence that just kind of introduces the book. So could we have something maybe a little more basic about, saying the name of the book and just kind of a general idea of what the book's about to start off?
That actually makes sense. I
Yeah.
would say that.
Yeah, something to the effect of, in the book, Number the Stars, um, the people of Copenhagen were faced. Let's see, what were they faced with, guys? Faced with terrible. I want to take your ideas instead of finishing this all for you. We're faced with. See, I got some ideas coming into the chat, it looks like. Oh, go ahead, Nicholas.
Oh, they were faced with um, uh,
Maybe terrible hardship. That's kind of what came to mind for me. Hardships once the German soldiers moved into the city. What do you guys think? Is that a more, I don't want to say basic, that's not the word I'm looking for, but just a better overview of the topic, and it also, tells you what the name of the book is? Do you think that's a better topic sentence, maybe? All right, thumbs up from Tyler. That's good. And I got an idea from Jacob. I'm sorry, I was trying to read in the chat at the same time. And he said, I would have said Kirsty got new shoes and she was stubborn and she had to get them inked. And actually, when I was reading that sentence about Kirsty getting her new shoes, I wondered if that was really an important part of the story. On a scale of 1 to 5, just hold up your fingers. Let me see 1 being not important at all and 5 being like the most important event. How important Kirsty getting new shoes is to the story? Okay. Yeah, so I'm seeing some 2s. I see 1 3. I see a couple 3s. Okay, and a 1. Yeah, and Jacob agrees kind of with me. I'm thinking it's maybe a 1 or a 2. It shows how hard things were in Copenhagen, but it's not. I don't think we need it, to be honest. So, Tyler, would you be okay if I deleted that sentence?
It's fine. It's it's fine because anything that makes it better is only helping. So
Yeah, exactly. Look at how much more important your next sentence is, Tyler. It's much, much more of an important detail. Then a few days later, the Germans started relocating the Jews, and Ellen's parents ran away in fear, leaving Ellen with the Johansons. Okay, I'm going to highlight the sentence we're looking at. And I want to hear suggestions from the rest of the class. How could we make it maybe more clear? Go ahead, Kaylee.
Didn't really run away with fear. They kind of just hid somewhere with fear.
Oh, okay. So we want to be more specific about were they actually running or were they in hiding. So Ellen's parents. So Kaylee, do you have this pulled up on your screen? Do you want to change this section to we're in hiding?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and do that. We're going to make this sentence flow correctly here in just a minute. What if I took out this part right here, a few days later? Is that really necessary? Maybe I could just say the Germans. And could I describe the German soldiers a little bit? Maybe an adjective to describe the Germans? Go ahead, Tyler.
The selfish or I can't think of the word right now.
That's perfect. I like selfish. Let's take Nicholas's adjective.
Cruel.
Cruel. Good. Kaylee.
My thing's not working for the number of the stars, so I can't edit it.
Oh, you can't type in there for some reason? Maybe it's because there's so many people kind of doing it all at once. That's okay. I'll do it for you. The selfish, cruel. I'm going to say selfish and cruel German soldiers, because they weren't just German people, they were German soldiers, started relocating the Jews. That seems like a kind of a good place to put a period. What do you think? Yeah, because that's kind of a really long sentence if we don't. Ellen's parents ran away in fear. So we could say Ellen's parents went into hiding, comma, leaving Ellen with the Johansson, how about we say Johansson family? Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you think we made some pretty good suggestions and corrections there. Oh, Nicholas, you have an idea. Okay, go ahead.
Instead of went into hiding, you could do fled to hiding.
Ooh.
Into hiding.
Yes. Fled the city. Now fled into hiding. Well, it's a little, oops, sorry, Tyler. I just scrolled all the way up. It's a little awkward, but it's a better verb. I'll agree with that. Okay, here we go. Next sentence. The next day, everyone, except Anne Marie's dad, went to Uncle Hendrik's farm. What suggestions do we have for Tyler? All right, Nicholas?
Instead of saying everyone, you could just delete the all.
Yeah, I agree. Kaylee, you have an idea as well?
You could say that Miss Johansson, Anna Mary, Christy, and Ellen went to Uncle Henrik's to hide.
I like that.
From the
Instead of
Germans.
saying everyone, we're going to be more specific altogether. Instead of just saying everyone, we'll say Anne Marie, Ellen, Mother, and Kirsty. Okay, let's see. Let's reread what we have so far. The next day, Anne Marie, Ellen, Mother, and Kirsty, except Anne Marie's dad. We could just take that out. There we go. Went to Uncle Hendrik's farm. Perfect. Okay, here we go. That night, they had a coffin full of blankets brought to the house, and Germans showed up and wanted to know who was in the coffin. And then Anne Marie's mom was about to open the coffin, and the soldier slapped her. Okay, so we got a really long sentence here. Any suggestions for Tyler on how we can fix it, make it maybe more clear? Jack.
And wanted to know who was in the coffin, and I'll put a comma in front of the coffin.
Okay. Let's see, right here. Who was in the coffin and then comma? Okay, so I broke it up a little bit. Any other suggestions, Kaylee?
Um, it says that night they were in the coffin full of blankets brought to the house. You could put a period there and delete the and.
I think that's a good idea because this was really, really long. Let's see. So that night they had a coffin full of blankets brought to the house, comma. I mean, sorry, period. The Germans, instead of Germans, I'm going to say the German soldiers. It's a little bit more specific. And, if I said Germans, it could just be German people, and that's not accurate. Go ahead, Tyler. Make sure your microphone's on.
Was full of clothes and blankets. It wasn't just blankets.
Okay, so that's more detailed, sure. The German soldiers showed up and wanted to know who was in the coffin. Okay, full of. Why don't you do that, Tyler? Why don't you go ahead and add clothes and blankets? Ashley?
Okay. And like, I think it was a sentence or two ago. We need to capitalize the U in Uncle Henrik.
Ooh, we are getting into the next part, which is making corrections. We're not quite there yet. We're still making suggestions for him, but that's okay. Where was it? And I'll go back and fix it.
It's like right there. Like your mouse is like right next to it.
Okay, what do you want me to add?
Capitalize the U in Uncle.
Uncle. Good. That's right, because right now this is part of a title, so uncle needs to be capitalized. While we're making corrections, this is something I forgot to do on my piece, but I should have. Anytime we're talking about a book, you need to make sure it's underlined, the title, okay? All right, going back down to almost the end here. The German soldiers showed up and wanted to know who was in the coffin, and then Anne Marie's mom was about to open the coffin and the soldier slapped her. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm sorry, 1 to 5, how important is that, detail? Is it something that we really need in there? Or is it just, okay, so we got a 3. 3, okay. Well, a 3 says that I should probably keep it in there then, so let's fix it. The German soldiers showed up and wanted to know who was in the coffin, and then when Anne Marie's mom was about to open the coffin, the soldier slapped her. Okay. I'm just going to add a period and shorten this up a little bit. When Anne Marie's mom was about to open the coffin, the soldier slapped her. What came next? Kaylee?
Because he didn't want the germs from her.
Oh, right, because they said that the body supposedly had, oh gosh, what was that disease? It was a contagious disease. Yeah, okay. Slapped her. But how about we say, but it prevented them from getting caught. So Mama was lying. I mean, there really wasn't a body in there that was, laden with that disease. But it still, it satisfied the German soldiers so that they didn't have to open the coffin and, basically get caught since there was blankets and clothes in there instead. When the soldiers left, Peter handed out the clothes inside the coffin. On a scale of 1 to 5, how important is that sentence to the paragraph? Is that something that we need to keep? I don't really see anything wrong with it, but I think maybe for just a paragraph long summary, it might be a little too much. So I'm going to take it out. An hour later, they left in small groups to Hendrik's fishing boat. Everyone made it safely, but on the way back, Anne Marie's mom sprained her ankle. They left a package, so Anne Marie had to take it in a basket full of food. On her way, Germans stopped her and looked at everything. They gave food to their dogs. Woo! Tyler. Turn your microphone back on.
I always forget that. After basket full of food, there needs to be a comma.
I agree, but Tyler, I'm going to make a suggestion for you. I think this whole section that I have highlighted here can be shortened into about one sentence. I really think that all we need to talk about is the fact that the Jewish people were able to hide in Uncle Hendrik's boat and make it to Sweden. So, is there any way I can maybe take all of these details and make it just one good sentence?
I'll type it into the chat and make it, and then
Sure. And then I can cut and
okay,
paste it in there. Yeah, because, I want to give details. Don't get me wrong, but I think maybe we don't want to give away too much, and we want to be concise at the same time. We want to, just give the very important parts. Okay, so while he's typing his new idea into the chat, let's take a look at the conclusion sentence. I'm going to say that this right here is the conclusion sentence. Everyone went to Sweden to live a good life and to be free. I could probably change the word everyone. Jack, go ahead.
I was going to say the same thing.
Okay, good. Kaylee?
Could change everyone to all the Jews
Yes.
or some of the Jews.
Well, the Jewish, or how about we just say most of the Jewish people in Copenhagen? Whew. Hagen went to Sweden to live a good life and to be free. Okay. Instead of went, is there a better verb that we can use? Most of the Jewish people in Copenhagen escaped. Go ahead, Jack.
Most of the Jewish people in Copenhagen traveled to Copenhagen.
Traveled to Sweden. Perfect. I think that's better than went. And I got Tyler's new sentence. So we will go and add that. Let me cut and paste it for him here. Oops.
oh, I
Right.
just added another one on accident.
That's okay.
I don't even know how I did it.
I say that sometimes myself. An hour later, they left in small groups, and on the way back, Anne Marie's mom sprained her ankle. They dropped a package, so Anne Marie had to take it to Uncle Hendrik. I think I'm missing maybe a couple words that would make it more clear. An hour later, they left in small groups. They left for the boat in small groups. I'm going to take out the part. I'm sorry, I'm going a little faster now because we're getting close to the end. I'm going to take out the part about Anne Marie's mom spraining her ankle because I don't think it's a real important detail. but they dropped a package, so Anne Marie had to take it to Uncle Hendrik. Good. How about somebody who doesn't know what this book's about is going to wonder. So we'll just say an important package. Okay. All right, guys, give me a thumbs up if you think we have successfully made this paragraph better. I agree. So today we really dug in deep with evaluating this rubric, and only one little section of it, but still it's an important section, the organizational category. We evaluated that. We analyzed two different writing pieces, mine and Tyler's, and we really just collaborated and talked about how to make this better. And I don't think anybody had, hurt feelings. I think it was actually kind of fun. So I think we'll do more of this. It was a good day. So if you have not added your piece to this Google Doc, please do so, because that was your final assignment for book clubs. And before I wrap it up, can somebody tell me just a little recap of something you learned from today? Go ahead, Tyler.
I would say that change is always better. And no matter how the change is,
Yeah, the
it's better.
change can be good, and it's not really a scary or bad thing to go in and kind of, revisit your writing. What were the steps of peer editing? Step one was to go ahead, Tyler.
Compliment,
That's right. Haley?
and then it was to give suggestion,
That's right.
and then um, make corrections.
And then make corrections. Perfect. All right, so we were successful today. So like I said, we're going to work more on our writing, and we're really going to dig in with that creativity piece with some free writing here in the weeks to come. So it's been fun. Thank you for coming, and yeah, I'll see you later. I'll see you Thursday. Say bye. Bye, guys.